Welcome to Arsenal Above All. Another action-packed weekend following the Arsenal. Lots of drama, lots of controversy, as usual. I've got Stephen from Step Me Talks with me tonight. Following the back of the Champions League chat we had. Good to have you back again. And I've also got James from James Johnson's Football Channel. Great to see you again. I know you've done the rounds already, the podcast rounds already with the Purely Boys this morning. James, I appreciate you coming on to talk about the win against 12 men, how vital that win is in terms of leading up to the break we've got possibly to Dubai and what that means. And obviously the transfer window, we'll try and touch on that. But we'll be talking obviously about the main man at the moment, Michael Oliver. And we all know what he is, don't we? He's an absolute... Evening all. Steve, how are you feeling? How's your temperature? How are you feeling at the moment?
Yeah, well, you know what? It's still quite high, believe it or not, because I'm still fuming about it. It's definitely on a scale of 1 to 10, still at about 10. So it'll be good to air my frustrations.
Good stuff. Great to have you on as usual. And I've also got James. How are you doing, James? You feeling all right? I know you've talked it out already, but is it all flooding back to you?
Well, yeah. No, first and foremost, thanks again for having me on. And secondly, yeah, I've gone from, if we were to be Nando's scale, I've gone from hot to I'm lemon and herb now. I'm still, there's a bit there, but it's not as much as it was the other. If like I said earlier, if we did this 10, 15 minutes after kickoff, Mike, you probably wouldn't have had a channel anymore. So, sorry, not kickoff, full time. I know yours is more of a family show than the other shows that I go on, so I will rein myself in as best I can.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I was exactly the same. So let's just jump in two-footed and probably get a yellow card for it. Let's see what happens. Depending on Pogba, we don't know what the rules they're doing at the moment. Yeah, let's get into it. So I've watched, obviously I've watched football maybe a little bit longer than you two. I'm a bit older than you two. I would say I've never seen anything like that before, but it's happened 3 or 4 times already where we've seen a red card or a decision go against us, which you wouldn't see. You would say you wouldn't see in a million years. It's happened once too often, hasn't it? You talk about comets that pass by every 90 or 80 years, and I think you'll go probably that long before you see someone else getting a straight red card for something like that. And talking to Steve before we started, I was I was watching it on the stream, and literally when that happened, I was like, what's the point of watching anymore? What really is it really the point of watching? I might as well just switch this off and just spend some time with my kids. You know, it's my daughter's birthday this weekend, and just spend some time with her and all that stuff, and play with some of the stuff she's got. But I carried on watching it, and obviously we obviously turned out, got the win. A fantastic effort from the boys. They didn't look like they were going to lose in the second half. I'm sure you guys have seen the clips of Declan Rice leading, having a chat with the boys beforehand, and he was really animated. He was pointing and gesticulating to people behind him, like, so he's pointing towards the Wolves goal and things like that, and the Wolves players. Yeah, I mean, I'll go with you first, Steve. What's your thoughts on that? 24 hours later, what's your thoughts on just what has happened? And I'll say, have you not seen anything? Have you ever seen anything like this before? You have, you've seen it a few times. But what's your thoughts on it, and just where it leaves the club? Do you think the club should do something now or make a statement? Pogba have made a statement tonight. I don't know if people have seen it, but they've made a statement tonight about the abuse that Michael Oliver has received, and his family has received. And we don't condone, we're not about that. Us three, we're not about that. You're going to find idiots in all sorts of fan bases all over the world that will just go too far, and that's a joke. Leave it in the stadium. If you want to abuse him in the stadium. The song they've got for him. Michael Oliver, it's all about you. That's fine. Leave it as that. But when you're taking it going across the line, no, that's stupid. But what's your thoughts, Steve, on the madness that happened yesterday?
Yeah. So first of all, just to condone that sort of behaviour and that sort of abuse to anybody, I don't like it when it's done to our players. Don't like it when it's done to other teams' players or the officials as well. Yes, we're all upset. Yes, we're all angry. Yes, we're all frustrated. It was a poor decision. Let's address that part. No way is that a red card offence. Okay. No matter how people want to try and talk it up, I saw the Pogmo, what they said about it, and they said, because it was high up the leg and blah blah blah. And I go, even if that was the case, you're saying it's serious foul play, and it's not. It's just a cynical tackle. It's just something to stop a break. That happens every game, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times a game. Sometimes players get a booking, sometimes players don't. But if that is the standard, then you want consistency, because that's all we ever ask for. All us Arsenal fans, that's all we're ever asking for, is that consistency. We don't get that consistency even in the same game. As you've got the picture there, the yellow for Gomez, and it's the second yellow. It's a yellow card. Like, do you know what I mean? You just go, yeah, he's a bit late. There's a yellow card. Yeah. And you take that and you go, right, he's got a yellow card and he's sent off. And you go, okay, that's fine. But you're saying Myles Lewis-Skelly, you're saying that his one was worse. Serious foul play. Then that's their words, not mine. It's serious foul play, and it's worthy of a red card. When, like I said, we've all seen the clips, and we've all seen clips of when players have been kicked and stuff like that, and you've gone, that's not even a card. You're not even giving them a card, and that's serious foul play. So that is beyond me. Like, I watched it, and like I said to you before the show, Michael, I was the same with you. I was just like, there's no point. You've got no hope. You've got no chance when even the officials, even if you go, okay, they're not against you, Steve, they're not against Arsenal, and you go, it's gross incompetence. Even if their incompetence is not up to the level, then something needs to be done. You can't have a level of competence every single week, because we look at other leagues, we look at leagues where we go, oh, that's a farmers league and that's a poor league and this, that, and the other, and you just don't get the same level of poor officiating when it comes to a European Championships, a World Cup, a Europa League, Conference League, a Champions League game. You don't get that same level of inconsistency. Yes, you might go, I can't believe they give that in the Champions League, but they don't give it in the Premier League. It's because they go with consistency of, if it's a foul, it's a foul. If it's worthy of a booking, it's worthy of a booking. And VAR backs that up or tells the referee to go and look at it again, or whatever it may be. What happened with Myles Lewis-Skelly is it's an awful decision. I remember it was Howard Webb when we played Man City was it last season or the season before? No, it was last season, and the tackles on Rice and Odegaard by Kovacic.
Yeah.
He went, yeah, Michael Oliver doesn't want to influence the game. He doesn't want to have an impact on the game and blah, blah, blah. And you go, he's literally done that in at least 2 games against us
since
afterwards. Like, do you know what I mean? You go, he's an 18-year-old kid. You sending him off is you going, yeah, I think he's worth it. Like, I know he's that sort of player. I know he's nasty and cynical and everything like that and blah, blah, blah. It's a horrible challenge. Or it's a potential leg breaker. It's not. Yeah. It's just the tackle to stop an attack. He's nowhere near his... there's no player attacking. It's I just don't get it. I just don't get it. At no point can you honestly look at that and go, that's worthy of a red card. That's worthy of the kid's first red card in professional football.
Yeah. It's mental. I mean, the thing for me, James, as well, was how quick he was. He got the red card out. It's like it was literally like it was like a hair trigger. There was no sort of like doubt or second guessing. He was able to compute, all of it. Where the players were. In case people were saying he was the last man, it was a goal scoring opportunity. It wasn't. He computed all of that. And you could see that there were Arsenal players covering anyway, and he deemed that was a red card. I mean, what's your thoughts on it? I mean, for me, I think there's such a body of evidence that I really, really, really just hope Arsenal make some kind of statement, because it's there and they've got people actually on their side. Whereas in the past, this season, we've had people say, "Oh, it's just Arsenal fans moaning." They think they're so important and this and that. But you've actually got opposition fans all along my timeline saying, no, you guys are, definitely ref differently. What's your thoughts on it, Stephen? Do you think the club should take steps to make a statement, just bring it out in the public? Because it's easy, I'm thinking, oh, we've won, so they're just going to sweep it under the carpet, and not take the high ground or whatever. But what's your thoughts on it, Steve? James, sorry.
So yeah, just going back off both of what you've said, I agree 100% with both of you. Where I'll take it to sort of steer the conversation a different way as well is as much as I am angry at him, because we've got a dossier at least of just him on his own.
Yeah,
I'm going to call out the other 3 that are in that room, because their whole ethos and their whole main thing that they project and tell us, we're not here to re-ref the game. We're here to uphold the standards of the game. So you've got 3 other people, that's 6 more sets of eyes that have watched that and haven't even gone, think you need to go to the telly, mate, to check that one out. I think you might have had a little bit of a howler there, Michael.
Yeah.
Go have a look at the screen and sort it all out. They've just backed him straight away. And that just shows to me how, like you said as well, Stephen, how incompetent all of them are. All of them are.
Yeah.
Because you haven't got a set between your legs to challenge who is, quote unquote, the best referee in the league. And then again, going to what you said about the Kovacic ones on Odegaard and Rice, he said, oh, yeah, he doesn't want to give someone a red card in a big game. Well, I'm sorry, but when there's only 2 teams really that are in this title race, which are Arsenal and Liverpool, Arsenal-Wolves is a big game, because the margins are that big in terms of going for a title, so everything is big. And yes, this outcome, in the end, we ended up getting a positive result from. That could have been a completely different game, just due to this guy giving a red card, which is never a red card, and you will not see it given again this season. You won't see it the season after that or the season after that. But this guy in particular, he needs to be called out, because he just on his own has given so much to Arsenal. I think it's more penalties, more yellows and more reds than any other team that he refs. And I'm sorry, but this is the last 3 seasons where we've been, if not, I think the last 2, we were maybe on top of the Fair Play League, let alone we've definitely been in the top 3 of the Fair Play League for the last 3 or so seasons. So this isn't, 97, 98 Patrick Vieira Arsenal that's brand new, getting sent off and everything. We're not thuggish players. I mean, Lewis-Skelly, I looked earlier, he's barely got 10 cards in his youth career.
Yeah.
They're yellows. let alone a red. He's never been sent off even as a youth player. So like you said, Stephen, he's got no previous. You're not looking at him going, oh, he's a bit like a jacket, he's a violent one or whatever. And he don't have an attitude. Okay, when he got booked walking off the pit. But this guy booked him before he was even playing against Man City. He booked him on the bench.
Yeah.
He booked him when he was on the bench. So it's just, it's unbelievable. And like Liverpool, where they got stung last year and they complained, and that guy's never even VAR'd a Liverpool game, let alone refed it. We need to be like, he cannot be anywhere near our games anymore.
Yeah,
he is just specifically, and they can't say they don't have biases because we've seen one on a video. Okay, he was under the influence of Lord knows what, but he stood there and said, I hate that man. Well, he called him a bit worse than that.
Yeah.
He said, I don't like him. So
Yeah.
it's clear, after Newcastle last season, he stood there and called them all out for what they were in a nicer way than probably he wanted to put it. But they've marked his card.
Yeah,
they've marked his card because they're like, screw him. We'll have him. We'll find ways of having him and his team over. And but he specifically should not be allowed to ref Arsenal games anymore.
No,
and that Gillett as well. That's an admitted Liverpool fan. When we're going for the title and it's neck and neck, how can someone that supports the other club reffing the team that's directly competing with them for a title?
Yeah,
it's a conflict of interest.
Yeah, 100%. The numbers don't lie. I mean, I've got these up whilst you're there talking, James, and 50 City games and no red cards. Obviously, been angels in absolutely every single one of those games, and you just see ours. It's just insane. The numbers there, and again, people want to say whether it's incompetence or corruption or cheating in certain aspects. I just think there's too much. There's no coincidences. I don't think in this. I think people are saying, oh yeah, he supports Newcastle and what have you, and he's trying to take us a peg down, make us a bit weaker before we played them in the semi-final, and if the ban stands, and obviously he does miss that game as well. But I'm just kind of, the silver lining from all this is the fact that, as I said before, that it seems that everyone, ex-pros, ex-managers, refs, Keith Hackett has come out and said it's just a joke. It's a joke decision. You see this every other game, don't you? You see that incident every other game, and it's a yellow card all day long. It's never, it's in that situation. If you're looking on the other over the halfway line, as we've seen before, you may be looking at a red. But for me, he's put us in a situation which we've been in, in a real desperate situation, going for the title, as you said, James, and everything's against us again away from home. I definitely think the club should release some kind of statement to state that they want answers. They want this to be reviewed. I know referees are meant to be adjudicated. There's meant to be someone in the stands that meant to watch them and give them marks out of 10 on certain things, and communication and decision making and what have you. But there needs to be some transparency on that, don't you? I would like to see what that report looked like. I would like to see what that adjudicator thought of his decisions, what he did there. But we won't see it because, again, they say, oh yeah, VAR's going to make things more transparent. It hasn't, because they're doing it. They're doing it there on their own terms. They're not bringing in the automated offside, because they still want to have an element of control. They want to wait for the British company to actually get it working properly so they can keep it in-house, sort of thing. For me, I think enough's enough. I think Wolves last year tried to get VAR taken off, and sadly for them, nobody voted with them. And in Norway, the Norway Football Federation, they voted against VAR, and they voted to not have it anymore. So it's not going to be part of the football anymore. So there is some scope of that to happen. And It's going to be something disastrous has to happen to the favourites. Let's say Liverpool. Let's say something really, really, really bad needs to happen for them before they say, "Oh yeah, let's get rid of it." But I just can't understand how you give a red card for that, and then VAR is there for those circumstances for a clear and obvious error. That's a clear and obvious error. I don't care what anybody says. But yeah, we'll get the normal stuff from Pogmol. They'll stand by it. Dermot Gallagher will come out tomorrow on his Sky Sports News rubbish nonsense show, Ref Watch, and say, yep, it was definitely a red card. I just hope the club appeals it. We have to appeal it. Just for. We have to. I really, really hope we do. And again, I'll say it again. I really hope that we make a stand somewhat to let them know. Put the pressure on him. Show the evidence. Show the information I put up. Put that out. Just Tim Lewis is there. He's a lawyer, isn't he, or whatever? Get the lawyers all over it. Just put something out there. Put the pressure back on them, so it makes it really, really, really uncomfortable for them to even think of appointing him for a future Arsenal game. And if they do, all eyes are on him. Everyone's watching him, whether it's home or away. But yeah, it's an absolute joke, man. Absolute joke. Mac has said, what's great against me is Pogba are making a big statement, but this is happening every week. So why are they making a meal out of this? He made a mistake. So what did you want to happen? Yeah, I mean, he's talking about the abuse that the fans have got, and yeah, as we said, obviously keep it in house. If it goes across the line, then outside of that, then no, we don't condone that. But Steve, what's your thoughts on how this is going to affect the boys going forward? Do you think the circumstances, the result, the way we got it, the resilience we showed, do you think that's going to kick us on, especially with what we've got coming up at the weekend, and then obviously midweek with Newcastle? Would one or two additions be helpful as well? But what's your thoughts? How do you think this is going to kick us on?
I think personally, it will hopefully kick us on. If the players didn't know already, especially at this stage of the season, after the first 10 games of the season, if the players didn't know already, it's us against the team that we're playing plus the officials. One of my friends, Darren, he's an Evertonian. He's an Everton fan, and he said, What makes these decisions worse is the impact it has. Okay, that's forgetting everything else. Forgetting, like I said, you can call it bias, you can call it corruption, you can call it incompetence, whatever you want to call it. It has a massive, massive impact. If you're challenging for a title and the officials are just not getting the big calls right, it has an impact. It's the difference between you getting 3 points, 1 point, or no points. Like, it has an impact. If you're battling relegation, it's the difference between you staying up, staying in the Premier League, and you going down. It's the difference between a manager keeping his job and a manager getting sacked. There are so many impacts. It's so impactful in the game that it needs to be more scrutinized. And I'm not saying that it should be scrutinized. If they don't want to scrutinize it in front of the public, then don't do it. But it should be done with the managers, at least. After like every game, you just go, look, this is the report. This is what we're doing. This is how the referee saw it. Blah blah blah. And it should be scrutinized. There should be something that says, yeah, but you can't keep saying that. This is how the ref saw it, and this is it. And all hands up. You may have made a mistake. This is the biggest sport in the country. It has huge millions and millions and millions of pounds worth of impact on how a club runs, how a club, like I said, as you get relegated, you lose money. If you stay up, you gain money. If you win a title, you get more money. If you just miss out by a few points because of a few dodgy decisions, you lose money. You lose a title, you lose that pedigree, you lose something. Like I said, our players will use that, hopefully, because I know Arteta will. He's like a Michael Jordan in that sort of sense, and he'll just go, okay, look, you see how they're treating us? Okay, right, we just got to do better. But the consequence of that is the players maybe subconsciously will go, I can't do certain things. So they may not go in for a challenge because they'll be fearing, oh, if I get a red card here.
Yeah.
And not that you should be fearing a red card for, like, you know, a 50-50 ball or anything like that. It's just something like that. If that's going to get you a red card, you're going to play on the edge, if you know what I mean. You're not playing at a full tilt because you're always just that bit cautious. So you're going to pull out of challenges. You're not going to go for those 50-50 balls because you're going to go, that's going to go against me. It has a psychological effect as well. So I'm just hoping that Arteta just says to them, look, continue what you're doing. Don't pull out your challenges. Make sure you win your duels. But we know it's everybody else against us. And every club can say the same. You know, like I said, Wolves would say it last year. Teams like Everton can say it this year. It's us against everybody else when we're playing. And we're not going to get any help from the referees. We're not going to get any rub of the green. We're not going to get... a decision go our way. Just just keep going, keep doing what you've got to do, and win the game. And that's all we can do. Like I said, it's too impactful that it's not scrutinised. I think if you look at other sports around the world, you look at rugby, you look at ice hockey, you look at basketball, you look at American football. All those sports are transparent. The referees are mic'd up. You get instant interaction. So even if you may not agree with a decision in those sports, it's mic'd up. They explain it. They explain why they've given it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that you should do that for every single decision, but you at least get that instant, this is why, and this is what I think, and blah, blah, blah. And if there is any reason why it might not be how the referee sees it, it goes to the video.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They get it up on the big screen and they go, this is what's happened. As you can see here, this is why we've given it, blah, 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 blah. Over here, it's just like, we don't want to upset the referees. Upset them. It's everybody else's job in the line apart from their own. Yeah,
it's for me, it's I've said this, I think I said this before on with James on Purely Arsenal, Steve. It's accountability. I think we've all everyone in the game, whether that's us, whether that's fans, whether that's managers, players, pundits, they all need to. If they take the accountability, everything will get better. Because we take accountability. We've said that because we've said what we said today. The fans that all want to threaten Oliver. That's going beyond it. Everyone needs to take accountability, and they need to do that as well. And I think that's why, with it not being so transparent, they absolve all that. They don't have to talk about it. Michael Oliver will get another game next week, and it will be nothing will happen. We'll get a big decision maybe against Man City. Let's say it will go our way, and then everything will be, oh look, there you go. It all came round again for you lot. What are you moaning about? And that's how. That's not right. It's they're just not, like you said. There's no transparency, and because of that, there's no accountability when things go wrong. It's like you get Harry Webb out, you roll him out. Michael Owen doesn't say anything, to him, and then it just rolls on again, and then you wait for the next thing to happen. Before I go to you, James, just a couple from in the chat. Max said, I agree with you about VAR. It needs to be a root and branch review. It needs to be either more automation or two people making decisions. I think VAR, James, should be taken away from the referees. It should be a separate entity or separate people. You got all these geeks and nerds and stuff that do all the stuff online, all these tacticos and do all these great content and everything. Get them to do it. Get them to do all the tech stuff, but you have a proper strong communication where if something happens, it's like, okay, look, sorry, or you don't have to call. We've heard the audio, and it's all pally, isn't it? Oh, sorry, mate, and you might have to look at this, mate. No, it's proper professional. Sorry, or call the referee by their surname. Oliver, I need you to go and look over at this screen. We think you've got this wrong. Just get it, more professional, and don't have mates backing up mates and not wanting to embarrass mates, like you said at the beginning, James. You don't want. He's a top referee. Who am I to say that he's got it wrong? In a game like this, where there's a massive title at stake. I think that's how it should be, James. What's your thoughts on that? And just again, how you think we should come from this?
When it all first come in, we did a massive pod on Pew. It's one of the ones where there was actually all 4 of us on there. And that was the first thing I said. I was like, they need to not know who they are. They have no previous relationship with them. And they're specifically, they do the technology, you do the physical refereeing. And that's how it should be. I mean, I've got family in Italy, Mike. And okay, you know, in terms of how they are socially and in terms of how they are with race and everything, they're miles and miles behind this country. However, my family in Italy will go to me, how have you got a show that takes up time on your channels of an ex-professional talking to a ref about why decisions have been made? They find that they're like, that is the most bizarre thing. and they said, and you sit there and tell us you've got the best league in the world.
Yeah.
They're like, why have you? They said you cannot claim to have the best league in the world when you've got a TV show where a guy who's an ex-ref and is now in charge of the refs has to stand there, you know, ex-copper has to basically justify why his little cartel have made these decisions. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. I mean, when you've got all these people that they're the first people to kick Arsenal when Arsenal were down, even going, this is ridiculous. You've got to. I mean, the telling one for me yesterday was on Soccer Saturday, which again barely anybody watches anymore. It's completely diminished as a show as what it used to be. But all of them to a T were just like going to Mike Dean. Now shut up. Like seriously. They're like, there's no way you're spinning out of this one, mate. And you mentioned it with the channel that obviously the game was on.
Yeah,
they were all starting. Lee Hendry and the woman, I can't remember what the woman was called. They were like, oh, and then all of a sudden they were just, you know, trying to relay it on to
100%.
why. Oh well, when
100%.
you explain it like that, and I was like, yeah, you've had something. You've had someone in the earpiece telling you what's got to be said. I'm like, what? No, this is it again. Accountability, but also no one's got the brass to go. You're wrong here.
Yeah, I don't understand it. It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's absolutely mental.
Yeah,
and they've got this power over.
Again, like I said, when you're going for a title, these things matter more. And I know people are like, oh, you're Arsenal, you're sounding petty and everything else like that. Well, yeah, because we're the ones competing. If you're up there and it's happening to you, you'll be the same. I'm like, I'll jot it all down because I know in a few years' time it might not be Arsenal's year and we might be lower down where these other teams are. Hopefully not as low down as as our neighbours are. But you know, I'm jotting it all down. I'm keeping the receipts because I said I'm going to come for all of you. I'm going to come for all of you when it starts happening to you because it will. Your luck will run out eventually. I'm telling you.
100%, man. It's mental that, you know, you look at it all at the end of the season. You're going to look at the table, and you're going to see the difference in points, and it's going to be really, really hard to swallow if, you know, the points that we've lost because of these decisions over the course of the season is the reason that we've lost the title. You know, speaking of which, well,
you get an apology. That's worth 3 points.
Yeah. I mean, what you said earlier, James, about the Soccer
if apologies
Saturday.
were worth points, Steve, we'd be on for 3 titles in a row. We'd be on for 3 titles in a row. We'd be doing the City. We'd be on for 3 in a row.
Yeah, it's the only good thing is, I'd say, James, is the players, like you said, who went at Mike Dean, and even Mike Dean said as well. He said, look, you know, if they appeal it, the independent panel is an ex-manager and an ex-player, and he knows for a fact they won't look at that and say, you know, that's a red card. They'll know that's nowhere near. So I just hope they appeal it. But knowing us, they'll find something and then they'll just stick with it. It's just absolutely so annoying. I've got Chris Ward. Thanks for watching, Chris. Said before, even Spurs ex-players and pundits are probably sorting the red card. Says it all 100%. You know, the fact that you've got some really deep-rooted, rivals, fans of ours who are actually coming out and actually saying stuff like that on.
Oh, it's better than talking about them, though, isn't it? They'd rather speak about anything else than them. So.
Adrian's in the building. Yeah, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Mac again. Pretty much after every red card, the blowback has meant our type of red card never happens again. Referees need to be held to account. And interface punishment was action. Yes, absolutely. Chris again. Despite the raise, I love the character the team showed second half to get the win because we could have easily sulked and dropped points. Yeah. It to me was like, no, not again. We're not letting these guys take up points again. We're not going to make them win as you know, as you can say. I mean, I think I said to you in the chat, you know, James, this is all Wenger's fault. I think all of this stuff we're getting from the refs is because of what he did. You know, he created this unbelievable team. We went unbeaten, and we had a certain Frenchman who used to, you know, get changed, and his cape used to come out, and he used to fly around the pitch when we needed him to get us out of a jam, and made referees irrelevant. Whatever decisions they made or tried to make to level things up, he just made it irrelevant by his brilliance. And I think because of that, we've lost a lot of people a lot of money. Certain individuals who may or may not have links with certain members of PGMOL. You only got to look at some of the stuff that came out with Coot, some of the pictures that came out, some of the individuals they were pictured with of a certain nationality, let's say. And I wouldn't be surprised if we lost a lot of people a lot of money. And you saw game 50, you know, we keep going back to that. If you ever want to see a game, if you ask, you know, Google or Alexa or Grok, whatever it's called on X now, can you find me, you know, give me details of a football match that was rigged in the last 20 years, and then they'll just start going through the whole commentary of that game at Old Trafford that day. And I think that's where it's all boiled down to, and we're still paying the price for it. I think a little bit for that reason. But let's get off of that.
Mike, just to add one last little thing to that. I'm pretty sure it was Mr. Wenger who was, in his opinion, he said, you know, the referees need to be professional. They need to be paid as professionals, because at the time, in the Premier League era, they were not professional. They were not professional referees. So he pushed for them to be professional. I mean, even just doing that bit of research as a referee, you've got to go, right, you know what? We've come a long way. And people like Arsene Wenger were the ones that were pushing it forward, that we need to be professional.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? But even that eludes any sort of logic that they would just referee us in that sort of way. I mean, I said that 50th game is the stuff of nightmares. I mean, you can literally watch that even as a neutral, even if you're trying to say something for the first time. This is a football game. Tell me what you see wrong. Everything in that game, everything.
Yeah. Yeah, still get PTSD from that. I'm sure you both do. Whenever it pops up on the timeline, you know, someone pops it up, you know, every year, you know, on this day, and you kind of watch it, and then you kind of think, oh no, sorry, I can't go through that all again. But James, looking at the team and obviously how things are going, let's talk about the squad really, and then we'll talk about a little bit in terms of transfers as well. Surprised to see Saliba back. Pleased to see Saliba back as well. Thought he was pretty much done until the City game. But yeah, what was your thoughts on just the lineup? And would you? I kind of thought. I kind of was surprised that Nwaneri played, but obviously it turns out that obviously Odegaard was another one that fell out, you know, with illness, and Marino picked up another injury as well. But what's your thoughts, really? Look, I mean, this is all pointing towards the squad and the numbers that we've got, and it's getting beyond a joke now. What's your thoughts going forward in the next couple of days of the window? Do you think we'll do anything last minute? Not as bad as Sterling. Obviously, we can't get anyone alone, but do you think anything's happening? Have you heard any rumblings? Have any of your ITKs been in touch with you? with you?
I wish I could sit here and give people something to cling on to, Mike. I really do. But the powder is completely dry on my end, I'm afraid. I mean, you don't really want to trust me after my summer escapades anyway. I think I got all of them right. I did say we'd sign Neto, but it was not the one that we ended up signing.
Yeah.
But I tried to claim it. But yeah, that yesterday, I mean, having to put the 2 keepers on the bench, otherwise we wouldn't have fulfilled the quota for the bench.
Yeah,
That's bad.
Crazy.
That's bad.
Crazy.
You haven't had 2 goalies because you ain't got enough.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, I mean, there's 4 international left backs on the bench, and a kid up front, and Raheem Sterling, who, let's face it, there was a period there where we desperately needed a goal, yet he still refused to bring Raheem Sterling on. That to me shows exactly the faith and the belief this manager has in him as a player. That's just basically the nail in the coffin for me. I didn't have much hope for him anyway, but I certainly now, I'm like, in a game that we all know we need to win, he still doesn't trust you to make any difference. And if Sterling doesn't see that for himself as well, then I'll be mightily shocked, because he's coming out and saying all the quotes that you want him to say. But you're not seeing the response. But no, I was really, really pleased, obviously, that Calafiori come on. He's someone who defensively I've called out throughout the season. I do think that he is very suspect defensively. However, the last 2 cameos that he's had, Crystal Palace when he gave Declan Rice that assist, and even yesterday, not even just from the goal standpoint, I thought he had a very, very good game when he come on. I was a bit upset when Nwaneri come off, because he looked in the first half like someone that was having a bit of an influence in that middle. When he's carrying the ball, that's pushing them further back. But in the end, you have to say the substitution was inspired, don't you? He got it spot on, because the beautiful man there changed the game. And you know what? City have got Vardiol, that is a centre-back that plays left-back, but he 9 times out of 10 scores and weldies. I don't think Guardiola scored a bad goal for City yet, from what I've seen. And this guy seems to be doing the same for us. Every goal that he scores is just it's a beautiful strike. So if he just keeps coming on and smashing the ball into the back of the net, I don't really care if he can't defend.
Well, he scored against them, didn't he? Up there at Ernst, and I'm pretty sure, obviously, if the ban is upheld, he will be starting next week against them. Touch wood, obviously, if he stays fit. I'm pretty sure he'll feature. He'll feature midweek, because obviously Myles Lewis-Skelly, he can play against Girona, obviously, because the ban doesn't stretch into that. But yeah, like as you said, it was great to see him back, and brilliant finish from him. The only negative, Steve, I would say on the day, obviously apart from the red card, was Kai Havertz. Just his finishing up there. I mean, he had that purple patch, didn't he, this time last year. It started off, obviously, with that purple patch. But any worries about him? Is that lingering, forward striker that we need to get? Is that going to be a problem? He's doing everything else. He's closing down. He's making himself a nuisance all across the pitch. But it's just that finishing, man. It needs to. It's. I just don't want it to be, as well as the points we've lost through the referees. I just don't want it to be him missing any big chances like he did on Saturday, to be the reason why we're going to fall away a bit. But what's your thoughts on that, and how vital it is that we try and get somebody in? I know you don't think we will, but
he's knackered, isn't he?
Yeah, is that as well?
Look, the reason why, and I've said it, sorry, I sound like a scratch record. Let me just go back a bit. Squad rotation, and we don't have that luxury with somebody up front, and so he's playing. Look at yesterday's game. The first half was 97 minutes, wasn't it? And then the second half was 52 minutes, and then the second and half was again about 52 minutes. So when you total that up over the amount of games he's playing, and he's always on, and he's always running, and he's always putting his body on the line, your legs tire. Which is why if you have another striker, you've got somebody there that you can go, okay, well, you know what, I can rest him. I will always start Kai Havertz, but After 60 minutes, I'm taking him off. After 65 minutes, I'm taking him off. He gets the rest. The other striker comes on. He gets 25 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 25 minutes, 25 minutes, and then he gets an opportunity to start. If Kai is not firing, we need backup. We need support. The managers come out and said we need support. The board need to support him. If they don't support him in this window, then there's literally no point. Like, do you know what I mean? They might as well just say, yeah, actually we're fine, you know. And I think we should just go on about it. And Arteta needs to stop moaning. The players just need to carry on and blah blah blah. Me myself, I've always been a huge fan of our Hale end. So, you know, if we need to dip anywhere, we can dip into our Hale end. But without signing somebody, if they don't sign a striker, which I said I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
That's the board. That's on the board, and them going, we think the squad is fine, and that they continue. But Havertz is knackered. Lots of our players are knackered because if you look at the amount of running that Kai does in a game, he's everywhere. And Declan Rice alluded to that the other week, and he just said, you know, Kai works hard. You know, he'll play anywhere you want him to play. And unfortunately for Kai, he's doing his best to try and help the team, because when we had a fresh Jesus, for example, he done that. You know, he put his body about. It's probably slightly easier for a smaller person to do that than, say, a taller person. But like I said, I can't see us signing anybody. We're left back FC, so if we're going to sign anyone, it's a left back. I mean, maybe the board might look at it and go, yeah, well, you know what, we've got Myles Lewis-Skelly, that's 4 games. Calafiori's been in and out. Zinchenko's been in and out. Tierney came on, put a really good cross, by the way.
Again,
Tierney's got, you know, we need a left back, you know. So if anything, we'll sign a left back. No.
Yeah. Do you think all of the squad building in the summer, James, is all the, you know, the chickens have come home to roost as such, because we had a really small squad anyway. We let a lot go out the door, even though we knew we needed additions with this new format of the Champions League and everything. Is that still a concern for you? Just his ability of managing a squad, or being able to keep people happy? Because obviously it seems like that's that's kind of one of his Achilles heels, it seems to me, since he's been there.
Yeah, I mean, before the season started, the way that he was speaking was like he was almost proud of the fact that he's got that squad, that small squad.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, I was 2 points away with the squad that I have. And then the stuff that panicked me recently was that it's only since this Jesus injury has happened that he's really forcing the issue to want to add in the attack. So I was just like, well, what? You were still happy? You know, before even Saka got injured, we knew, like, you've got to get us a winger or a striker in January, Mikel. You have to. You have to. And now it seems that the Jesus injury is the thing that spurred him on. So that makes me worry about what is he seeing that keeps him so happy, because the signs were there that this wasn't good enough to begin with. And I mean, I know, obviously I did the podcast earlier and it's been out for a little while, but I don't know if everybody's seen it. So I will just repeat something that I've said here for your listeners and your channel as well, Mike. Just looking at away games, Jesus, Saka, Trossard, Martinelli, Havertz collectively have 10 goals in away games in the league. Partey, Timber, Gabriel, Saliba, they've got 7 collectively. The defensive unit is only 3 goals behind what our attack does. So if you're telling me that we don't need nobody, you're deluded. And for me, as much as I'm getting onto Arteta, and I'm not really throwing it towards the Cronkies as well, I think, and it's very hard when we don't have a director there, because I do believe Edu previously used to go to Mikel, hey, look, we got to do something. I mean, beforehand, the Caicedo and Mudryk didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right, okay, we got to get you Trossard and Georgia. Might not have been what he wanted, but we had to change tact and get something. Yeah. And here, at the moment, we're not going to get Isak. Yeah, we're not going to get Sesko. But I'm sorry, you're telling me you can't find somebody that can offer you more than Havertz, Martinelli, Trossard, Sterling currently. No. In world football, Arsenal Football Club, even without a director, like you said, there's boffins galore that literally sit all day watching 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games from all over the world.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you cannot find me anybody with it. We've just gone up 2 places in the Deloitte League. All the financial experts have said this window, if Arsenal want to, they can do Declan Rice level money with no sanctions on it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think we need that lift. I've said it before. Reyes and Wiltord, were they world-class players? No, but they come in and they gave Arsenal a lift when they needed it the most. You don't need a world beater. You don't need a world beater. You just need someone that can, like you said as well, take the load off Kai Havertz. I mean, yesterday he got that whack and he was on the floor right near the end of the game for ages. Didn't get given anything, managed to get back up, but then he fell straight at the end. And he had 2 under each of his arms helping him walk back. I'm like, the guy is spent. He is spent. Because as much as I know everyone goes, oh, yeah, but he's got to score goals, James. He's a striker. He's got to score goals. They ignore. He does. He's a relentlessly pressing machine, that guy. He doesn't hide. He doesn't hide. Because I'm like, he still gets in those positions. Even though he misses them, he's still always there. That's the annoying thing. and I can't accept that this lot behind me cannot find anybody. I can't accept it because I just, especially when you've got clubs that are way, way lower than us making bids for players in the league. Nottingham Forest bidding for Wissa and Duran and whatever.
It's crazy, right? West Ham.
Yeah.
West Ham bidding for Duran and
I'm like, come on. Come on. You can't. I know that we like to operate in silence because people know that we're desperate. So, but this is the thing for me now. We're going into the last week. So whoever we buy, because I still believe we're going to buy. I know you don't, Steve, but I still believe we are. We're overpaying. Whoever it is, ignore the fee because we're over. People are going to go, oh, it's not worth that much. What are we doing that for? Swallow it because whoever we're buying, we're overpaying now because we've left it so late. They've just, you've just got to get somebody different.
Yeah. Max come back saying Evan Ferguson, Cunha, and Bruno, and others can be bought. Havertz covers.
I'd take all 3 of those. I'd have any of those 3.
Yeah, it's the players are there. As you said, they don't have to be absolute world class. They just need to be somebody who has the profile. Arteta was going on the other day in the press conference when he talking about all the things that he needs to have. How does they react when they don't score after 6 games? Are they up or are they down? And do they finish on their right? Do they finish on their left? And everything. And he's going through the list, and I was like, that player doesn't exist. Even Messi. Is he physical? Well, no, Messi isn't physical. Would he bring harmony to the squad if he doesn't score after 6 or 7 games? Ronaldo weren't like that, was he? He used to sulk and bitch when he didn't score after 1. Do you know what I mean? And then he's grabbing the ball and taking every free kick and everything. So I don't know what he's trying to look for. He's trying to gaslight us again, saying, I know what I'm doing. I know what I need to look for. There isn't anybody out there at all. We've heard this all before. Wenger did it. He did it all the time, didn't he? He used to gaslight us, saying, there's no one out there that can improve our squad. When we had the likes of Denilson in midfield and things like that, it's absolutely crazy.
I know City are corrupt as hell, but look at Marmoush for them yesterday. He didn't cost the world, but look at the lift Marmoush gave him yesterday. I thought he was brilliant yesterday when he played.
Yeah,
I thought he was a good player anyway. But I'm like, just find someone like that. You just got to find someone like that.
Yeah. Do you guys think, though, I was going to say, do you guys think that if you look at, I suppose, Arteta and Wenger, do you not think then it's not a them issue, that it's at board level? Because maybe they have to manage expectations and just go, the board ain't gonna stump up.
I think this lot now are basically like, we finance whatever. You tell us and we'll finance it. Because I know for a fact that they probably knew that we played yesterday, but they're not football people. They're not going out there and telling him to sign goalkeepers and left backs every window. So I do agree with like what Mike's saying. He's got a, you know, to quote Liam Neeson in Taken, he's looking for a particular set of skills that make someone a danger for people like the rest of the Premier League. But I'm like, you're not going to get that. If that guy exists, you're not getting him in January because everybody else wants him.
Yeah.
That
So
guy did exist. It was Thierry Henry, but
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
but I'm like, you're not going to get this. We saw in the summer that he put all his eggs in one basket on Sesko and he got stung for it and he left it. And we've seen what happens when you leave it. You can't do that twice. You cannot do that twice.
Yeah. Any of those would interest you guys? Just say.
all of them. There you go.
The second one, who's got the teeth snarling in the Lisbon shirt. Yeah, he should have been done 3 weeks ago, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I can't get my head around it.
He's got a clause. You know how much it costs to buy him.
He's got a clause. They've all got clauses, I think, apart from Naipan and I forgot his name. The Shirky. Yeah. He's. I think you can get him for like 20 million. Obviously, Naipan's looking at there's no release clause as such, but it's not going to break the bank. And I think Lookman's got a clause as well. I'm not sure how much it is. So there's 6 players there. I mean, there's talk of us getting Naipan and getting it over the line. I don't know whether that's going to be the one. You know, an 18-year-old coming in is going to be the one that's going to get everyone going. But yeah, there's players there. I just can't work out why nobody has even tabled or bid for Gyökeres. It just baffles me. It absolutely baffles me, man. But you know, what do we know? Eh? What do we know? We don't have all the stats and the monitors and everything. And like I said, sometimes you need to talk to players and have, you know, and listen to them and have the eye test. And the eye test tells you, you know, all of those could come in and do a job for us and give us that boost to go forward to, you know, in the last.
It's where the person knows they're probably not going to start, and there's a lot of people that are going, "Oh, well, you can't upset Kai Havertz."
Yes, you can.
Well, yeah, you done it to Ramsdale. You know, we've all seen him drop Ramsdale.
Yeah,
the left backs that have been changed. We all saw that happen. Trossard, when he come in, was on such good form. Soon as Gabriel Jesus was back again fit, didn't he? And Trossard had I think, what was it, 4 assists or something in one half against Fulham, or whatever it was.
Against Fulham, three.
And then it was as soon as Jesus was back, now you're out, he's in. So I'm like, he can be ruthless everywhere else on the pitch.
Yeah.
So don't give me this, he can't upset Kai Havertz. You know, if Kai Havertz hasn't got enough in him to think that he can compete and go with somebody else, then he shouldn't be there in the first place.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what and do it. For me, in our squad, there's 4 players that for me are undroppable. Okay, everybody else is easily replaceable, and by that I'm going our back 2, Gabriel and Saliba. I'm saying Bukayo Saka.
Yeah,
and I'll go. You can flip a coin, but I'll go with our captain. Okay. Everybody else, and maybe Declan Rice actually. Everybody else, you're replaceable. Like you don't deserve us. No, you don't deserve.
Not
you're
guaranteed.
Replaceable. You're like, you're not going to get many better than Saka. People might go, oh yeah, this person, that person. You're not going to get many better than Saka. Like I said, apart from this injury now, it's the consistency. His best ability was being available, and he was always working. I mean, you saw the clip of the video when we played Crystal Palace, and he got a boot in the back of the leg, and there was no card there, but he got a yellow card. He is just available. He was always getting kicks and getting back up.
Yeah.
Gabriel and Saliba, they, like I said, they've been immense. Gabriel has been an absolute monster. I was happy that he got a captaincy yesterday. The guy is an absolute monster. The best. I can't praise him enough for what he's done, including crucial goals from set pieces and whatever else. He boosts players. He's always very vocal. He's a massive man himself. Saliba, again, him and Saliba complement each other perfectly. So you wouldn't want to split that up. So, and then you've got our captain. He works hard. I think he does too much sometimes in terms of on the ball. Sometimes there's too many touches in that. But that's just his style of play. And when he works on his shooting and efficiency a bit more, that comes with familiarity with the players around him and stuff like that. You see a better Odegaard and Declan Rice again. It's that what happened. You look at yesterday's game and he's going around and he's geeing people up, and at the end of the game, you can see how much it meant to him. He was ecstatic because this is one that he wanted to win as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, not that he doesn't want to win every game, but this is one that he really wanted to win. So those for me are the only players that you can go. Your position is safe. Everyone else, that includes Timber. That includes, apart from Ben White as well. Come on. You missed the guy. My guy, Benny Blanco. But everybody else, look. Of course. Your position is dependent on your performances. And I knew from the start of the beginning of the season that he was not going to upset Kai Havertz. He was never going to do it. He'll go, look, he scored all these goals and he's done us fantastic and he helped us out and look, blah, blah, blah. And even me was going, fantastic. He's done all of that. We still need a striker though, don't we?
Yeah.
We still need a striker.
Yeah, we all knew it.
That's the difference.
Yeah, you all said it. Well, let's see what happens. If we go, is it February the 3rd? Is it the deadline closes? Yeah. So if we get to that date and we haven't got anyone in, that's you're really playing Russian roulette there. I think Arteta, and we'll get all the stories. I'm sure we tried this, we tried that, but as James said before we came on air, he's hopeful of a Ornstein bomber around 8 o'clock. So set your watches, set your alarms to that, and hopefully if it comes in, you can give James the credit when that lands. If it doesn't, then you can obviously give him the abuse, but kind abuse, not the abuse that Michael Oliver is getting.
Please don't find my address. I'm really not in the mood. Thank you.
No, but thanks guys for your time. Thanks for you really appreciate it. I know it's Sunday night. I'm going to do the kids ironing for their uniforms now. I'm living the life at the moment, and have the American football on in the background, and obviously look ahead to the trip to Girona. We didn't really touch on that, but I imagine there'll be heavy rotation as much as we can do, to make sure everyone's ready for Sunday against Man City. The big clash would be pretty explosive, that one. But it'd be interesting to see if a couple of the kids, Steve, as you were saying, get on, get some minutes as well. But it'll be pretty much heavy rotation, and hopefully just get that point just to get us over the line, at least to make sure we're secure in that top 8 of the Champions League. So thanks, boys. Thanks, James, for your time. Really appreciate it. All the great stuff that you do on James's football channel. Hopefully we'll be on there back again soon with you. And I really appreciate your time tonight. Steve as well, thank you. Always great stuff as well from yourself and both of you. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for the comments in the chat. Really good stuff coming in as well. And let's hope we can keep it rolling. Hope we can continue. It's funny the way we're refed in both. We're doing well in the Champions League, really, aren't we? And it's probably because we're refed differently to what we are in the Premier League. I think one of you mentioned it earlier as well. So just goes to show. Let's hope that keeps going, and hopefully we'll be back with you with a post Man City game. Let's see what happens, or if there's a transfer. If there is a bomber tomorrow at 8 o'clock, we might have to do an emergency show. But thanks for watching. All the best, and remember, Michael Oliver is an absolute.
Giroud into the box.